Hey everyone, let's talk about triangle congruence. We are taking a deep dive into triangles, as is the title of this unit. And so the first thing is first. I'm going to tell you that two triangles are congruent, and so what we have here is that angles match up B and M, E and A, C and S. There's also sides that correspond to each other, and so every part of these two triangles match up together in some way or fashion. And so we say that triangle back is congruent to triangle mess. And there is going to be a little bit more than meets the eye. And it's this acronym here that says CPCTC, which stands for the fact that corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Now, this is a mouthful for a bunch of nothing sauce. Because really what CPCTC tells us is that the naming order matters. It tells you exactly what part matches with what. So here, if I look at the name, I know that A matches with O, X matches with U, C matches with S. In fact, I know that XC matches with US because they're the second and third letters. So let's delve deeper a little bit into this. So if I look at this name AXC, I'm going to mark this with wedges. So A gets one wedge, X gets two wedges, C gets three wedges because that's the order 1, 2, and 3. O gets one wedge, U gets two wedges, and S gets three wedges. And so if I'm looking at OU has 1 and 2 wedges, and so that corresponds to AX here on the left-hand side. CX is the 3 and 2 wedge, and so that corresponds to SU. SO has the 3 and 1 wedge, and so 3 and 1 is CA. And I want to note first that for these three, the order actually doesn't exactly matter. Like, you can actually call this one XA, you can call this one as US, and this one as OS, simply because for segments, it doesn't matter how I name this one, forwards or backwards. So angle C here can be named and corresponds with angle S. Angle O, one wedge, corresponds with angle A. And then we get to this one here where we name it with CAX. So CAX, if we trace out the order, is CAX, CAX, CAX. It's going to be this angle, this corner here at A. And so angle CAX, if we want to be brief about it, corresponds to angle O. Right? CAX is this corner here. It has one wedge. And so it corresponds to O here, which has one wedge. That said, I prefer if you name it with the correct numbers. So CAX is 3, 1, 2. And so I super prefer if you name it as angle SOU. The reason being, you can name it, for example, as angle UOS. Remember that in naming angles, only the middle letter matters. But really, if you name it with the 3, 1, 2, like the number of wedges, you are guaranteed to get it correct. So I only point this out, that there is some leeway with the order for angles and segments. Order doesn't really matter if you go in reverse. Now, I do have to emphasize that this is now triangle SOU, so you have to tell me what matches with what. So S here specifically matches with C. Like, it has to match with C. They both have one wedge. And so there is no other option. This is triangle, starts with C. O has one wedge, as does A, and then U has two wedges, as does X. We can't reverse this. We cannot write XAC because then that would mean that X matches with S, and it doesn't. It doesn't because, stop, X here has 2 wedges, and S here has 3. It just doesn't match up. A here should match with O. A has 1, O has 2. That part matches, fine. And then C here should match with U, but C has 3 wedges and U has 2. The number of wedges is off, and so there can only be one name. It's the one that's written. SAC is, 2? That's not the right one. That's 2, 1, 3. So 2, 1, 3 is that order there. So when it's a triangle, there's only one valid name. Okay. On the bottom here, rep, this is R is 1, E gets 2, P gets 3. VWY, V is 1, W is 2, Y is 3. So for example, if I look at PR, which is 9, PR has the 3 and 1 wedge, and so that corresponds with YV. So I can label this as 9 meters. Next, I'm going to look at 24. Stop it. 24 has 3 wedges, so 3 wedges here on Y, so this is 24 degrees. Last but not least, we have this one here, 5, which is PE. PE has 3 and 2, so that matches with YW, which is 3 and then 2. So this is 5. By the same token, this is 7.2. But 35 right here on V has 1 wedge. That goes with R, also 1 wedge. Now I'm missing Y and W. These are both blank, so I can't use them to copy over. But with triangles, those angles add up to 180. So that's 121 degrees here for the value of E. We have found every value that we need. So this is 7.2. WY is 5. VY is 9. Angle R is 35 degrees. Angle E is 121 degrees. And angle Y is 24 degrees. Similar story with algebra. It doesn't really matter what's what. So G is 1, N is 2, E is 3. W is 1, K is 2, and then S is 3. So first off, I know that 74 equals 9y minus 52. That's because the W and G's match. So this is 126 equals 9y, and so y happened to equal 14. Okay, numero dos. So 2, this is N right here that has the 2 wedges. So that matches up with K that has 2 wedges as well. So 2 here, we have 5x minus 3 equals 67. 5x equals 70. And so x here equals 14. Now, I do want to say that this is a coincidence that these values are equal. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It just happens that way. Now, to find E, that's a little bit difficult because E here goes with S there, but E is blank. What you have to do is you have to take this 67 here and carry it over to N. Because now we have a triangle that has 2 of 3 angles. So 180 minus 74 minus 67, that's 39. And so now for step 3, we have that 81 minus Z is equal to 39. I'll do this one full out. We haven't actually seen something like this all year, I don't think. This is negative Z equals negative 42. And so when we divide by the negative 1 right there, Z is equal to positive 42. Word problem, gross. Now, I will say, and I only point this out because sometimes I do this, I don't encourage it, is I just look at the letters. DF, that is letters 1 and 3 in the first name, so that must correspond to letters 1 and 3 in the second name. So in fact, DF and JL are the corresponding parts, and they are equal. So we can just base purely off the letters, say that 9x minus 23 equals 7x minus 11. That said, I encourage you not to do that. Simply, and the best bang for your buck, is that you just copy these two triangles. So I will start here D on the bottom left and go clockwise. So DEF is that one. Here's JKL. DE is 18, EF is 23, DF is 9x minus 23. Next, JL is 7x minus 11, and JK is 3y minus 21. Now hopefully it's obvious that this part matches that one because they're both on the left, and then this part here matches that one there because they're both on the bottom. So either way, you should get this as one of your equations. 2x equals what, 12? So x equals 6. The second equation is 3y minus 21 equals 18. 3y equals 39, so y equals 13 for this question here. Last but not least, try this for yourself. Answers come in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. F, U, N. Pasca is P, S, K. So let's see what X matches up with. X here is on the 1 and 3 wedge. 1 and 3 wedge means that that's 28. So numero uno, 9x minus 5 equals 28. 9x equals 33. And so x equals 11 thirds. Great. Secondly, I'm looking at y. Y is between the 2 and the 3 wedge. So the 2 and the 3 wedge is 32. So that's 20. And so, of course, the last pieces we haven't highlighted are the 3z and 37. So here goes. And so those are our 3 values for this one right here. And so our work is done. Thanks.